Tonight, Governor Abbott is with us to talk about how the state is preparing for Hurricane Laura. Governor, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Just provide an update or changes for our viewers from yesterday's hurricane news briefing.
So what we see is an oncoming trajectory that is aiming toward somewhere between the Houston and Beaumont area, it looks like. And this is going to be a significant wind event. It will be very fast moving. It will cross all the way through northeast Texas very swiftly, but it should bring very damaging winds as it comes across shore. The good news right now is that it looks like the Victoria area may not be hit, or if it is, would be hit minimally. However, as we all know, these things can move dramatically in just the last day while it's still out of the water. So everyone needs to be on guard and vigilant to make sure they are prepared in the event that it does head toward the Victoria region.
Governor, what are some of the challenges the state is facing in evacuating for a hurricane during COVID?
We went through this exercise earlier this year with Hurricane Hannah that came ashore around the Nueces County, Corpus Christi area, all the way down into the Rio Grande Valley, and we actually had good results from it. We were able to make sure everyone followed the standard practices of dealing with COVID, such as wearing a face mask, maintaining your distance, not gathering together. And after Hannah, the cases of COVID in the Rio Grande Valley and Nueces County actually went down. We want to see the same results here in the aftermath of this hurricane, Hurricane Laura, where we need people to maintain these safe practices while they go about the process of evacuating, while they may hunker down in their own home. They shouldn't be gathering together with a whole lot of people, because if they do, that still can lead to the transmission of COVID-19. Last point along these lines, and that is a hurricane doesn't blow away COVID-19. COVID-19 will still be in Texas both before, during, and after the hurricane is here. So everyone must maintain these safe practices that have led to fewer hospitalizations and slower spread of COVID-19.
Now, this leads to my next question. How should individuals plan different because of COVID?
So they need to plan in ways in which they can maintain safe distances. Let me give you some easy examples, and that is as we are evacuating people on buses, we have only about a half or a quarter of the bus filled. As people evacuate, we urge them to go to a hotel room as opposed to a large gathering space, so that they will have their own individual room, so that they will not be in contact with others. So strategies like that, as well as maintaining good usage of a hand sanitizer, as well as wearing a mask, you will be able to make sure that you will continue to protect yourself from getting COVID, while also protecting your safety during the course of a hurricane.
That's great information, Governor. In some cities and counties along the Gulf Coast in our home state, like we've been reporting, they are being evacuated in buses and possibly heading to shelters, many families and people. How will they be protected there from COVID-19? So
first, the state of Texas is assisting our local counties with about 400 buses, and this is an adequate supply to make sure that we are able to assist in moving people to locations. And then as we move people to these locations, they are provided PPE along the way, and then as will be needed, testing will be available.
In possible affected areas, I've been seeing on social media, people are seeking additional help. Are there going to be extra resources, for example, specifically free parking for RVs, providing rental lodging resources to certain communities?
Sure. So a shortcut to learn what could be available along those lines would be to call either 211 or 311 to get information more specific about, let's say an RV wants to go to a certain location. But the bottom line is that there are ways in which the state is working with local officials, as well as the Red Cross, to make sure that we are providing food, supplies, and resources to people who are evacuating, or people who may be without power and need access to food and water and supplies like that.
Now, my last question for you tonight, with today being the 3rd anniversary of Hurricane Harvey, it's still in people's minds. Many people are anxious, they're scared with the hurricane approaching. Are there things that our home state learned that makes our state more prepared for Laura?
So going through Hurricane Harvey was about the biggest challenge the state had dealt with. And obviously we were battered and bruised because of that experience. However, we were not beaten. Texans came together. The biggest lesson that we learned through Hurricane Harvey was the way that Texans united and came together and helped each other. And if we approach this hurricane and every challenge with that very same spirit, we know we will come through it just like we have come through Hurricane Harvey.
Thank you so much, Governor, and it makes me feel good and more at ease to hear those words coming from you, and especially our viewers and people watching at home. If you're just joining us, go to crossroadstoday.com to see this interview in its entirety. Thank you so much, Governor.
Thank you, and be safe.